Now, in a major update, the stray dogs case in Delhi. Now, the Supreme Court Solicitor General Tushar Mehta has sought exemption from physical appearance for Chief Secretaries in the stray dogs case. However, a bench of Justices Vikram, Nath and Sandeep Mehta refused the plea, insisting on physical presence. Speaking on the matter, Justice Nath remarked, "It's very unfortunate. Governments frame rules, but take no action. They're sleeping over court orders." This comes after the Supreme Court had earlier directed all Chief Secretaries to appear in person and explain why compliance affidavits were not filed. I have my colleague Sambhav Sharma joining me with more details. Sambhav, what more can you tell us about this new development?
Well, this was the matter before the Supreme Court two-judge bench of Justice Vikram, Nath and Sandeep Mehta today, where the Solicitor General Tushar Mehta has asked for the Chief Secretaries of the state not to appear in person in the Supreme Court, because in its earlier judgment, Supreme Court has very categorically clearly said that Chief Secretaries will have to appear in person in the Supreme Court in this stray dog menace case when it is listed for further hearing on 3rd of November, barring two states, that is state of West Bengal and state of Telangana, who have filed a detailed affidavit in this particular case as directed by the Supreme Court, and other state secretaries, they'll have to appear in person. So the Solicitor General has requested the bench of allowing the Chief Secretaries to appear through virtually or video conferencing mode in this case, in the stray dog case. But the top court has very clearly said no to it and said that they'll have to be physically present in the Supreme Court during the next date of hearing, that is 3rd of November. And also, what is more important here, it is that the bench has firmly declined the request and observed that the states had failed to comply with court's earlier orders filing the affidavit in the ABC animal birth control rules. So what is breaking news is that all the Chief Secretaries of the state who have not filed the affidavit as directed by the Supreme Court on 22nd of August in its detailed judgment in the stray dog, they'll have to appear in the Supreme Court on the next date of hearing in this case.
All right, Sambhav, stay on with me. Now, the Supreme Court has laid down safeguards restricting investigating agencies from summoning advocates representing accused persons. Observing such actions could infringe upon the fundamental rights of the accused and violate statutory provisions protecting lawyer-client privilege. The Supreme Court has stated that investigating officers must not issue summons to lawyers appearing for the accused, except under clearly specified exceptions. The court has elaborated that summons can be issued to counsels only if it is covered in any of the exceptions under Section 132 and the exceptions are clearly stated in the judgment. The CJI Gawai-led bench further directed that when such summons are issued, they must be approved by an officer not below the rank of a superintendent of police. A bench of Chief Justice of India, B.R. Gawai, and Justices K. Vinod Chandran and N.V. Anjaria delivered its decision in the suo motu case titled Summoning Advocates Who Give Legal Opinion or Representing Parties During Investigation of Cases and Related Issues. I have my colleague Sambhav back with me. Sambhav, what more can you tell us?
The details of what happened in the Supreme Court in this case, I just want to add on few more things to it, where the Supreme Court has ruled the probe agencies, that is Enforcement Directorate, Central Bureau of Investigation or the State Police, that they can't summon lawyers for advising or rather representing in their clients in an investigation, and the lawyers can only be summoned in exceptional circumstances, is what is said by this three-judge bench of the Supreme Court, headed by the Chief Justice of India, where they took a suo motu cognizance of this particular case. The top court has emphasized that on confidentiality here of communication between the client and lawyers, which the Supreme Court earlier also hinted during the hearing of this particular case. And here the Supreme Court has talked clearly, emphasized on the exclusive, confidentiality clause between, that is called the attorney-client privilege, and also this particular issue require a kind of judicial intervention after ED issued summons to two senior advocates, that is Arvind Datar and one more, in connection of their professional role as lawyers during, this was this particular case where Supreme Court took a suo motu cognizance, and today the top court has ruled these, said these important points, and where the Supreme Court has very clearly ruled that lawyers could be summoned in exceptional circumstances, and generally they cannot be summoned for giving advice or representing their clients in an investigation done by any of the probe agencies like ED, CBI or the state police.
So that, of course, viewers, is the latest directive coming in from the Supreme Court. Thank you, Sambhav, for joining me with all those details. And that's it from me on this bulletin. Stay tuned to NewsX for more news and updates.